Good day. I'm hoping everyone's having a good day. They're just verifying if the volume is all right. Um, Everything seems to be going correctly or going fine so far. Um, all right. All right, volume seems to be good. Just going to mute this machine here and we can go ahead with our stream finally. um, so I've for those who wasn't here last week, basically we had a little bit of issues booting up the box, and well, it turns out it was completely my from my end. It was my issue. Well, it wasn't totally from my end, but it was caused by me. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is, if you're in a active box, don't switch VPN or don't try to switch to a different pawn box, because that will screw you for a good 24 hours. So lesson learned here on my side. Um, I was finally able to get out of it the next day. I guess 24 hours after I spawned the last box that I spawned, and that was it. So let it be my mistake that be your lesson here. So let's go with that. So, to those who are new here, to those who don't know me, my name is Tony. I also go by the handle Psycho Slave, or short for or shorter form Psycho, um, and I've basically been in the IT for quite a bit of time. Been involved differently with hacking through my life. Um, but enough of me. That's boring. I want to get to this box here. I've been dying to do this box for since last week. So we're gonna be doing investigation. All right, I'm making sure that the caption and the title of the YouTube is all right. I was having issues with that earlier. So yeah, we're gonna be doing investigation from HackTheBox. Um, Investigation allows us to test our blue team techniques in a red team engagement. I find right from the start, with the creator of the box basically takes us to an image forensic tool that isn't all that secure, and then once you get a foothold of the system, you get a very unlikely bug to get like remote access from. And and it's in basically into an Outlook email file. Then we use a Perl library to convert that that email Outlook file into a text file. Essentially, it turns out that there's simply an attachment in there, so we have to base64 decode it, and eventually leads us to a zip file, and in there's basically a zip of the security event logs, which contains quite a bit of data, but we're going to be using. I mean, there's probably a whole lot of different tools available, or there's probably better ways to do this than what I'll be showing. But I'll be showing Chainsaw because I think it's able to carve through those data pretty efficiently, and eventually we get to find like a default password. Um, Eventually we get to find a default password, and it ends up being the password of the user on the box. In there, you can find that you're allowed to sudo to this special binary file, and we can pull the file to our system for further analysis, and eventually find that there's a way to gain code execution from that file. So the skills required to do this box, I would say good Google foo skills. Again, Last time I said Kung Fu skills, eh? Um, so not Kung Fu skills, but Google Fu skills. Using Google's, I was able to find a payload that gave me foothold of this system. Um, and then basic Perl knowledge. No need to be a Perl expert here, but what I found interesting is that the web server at some point is written in Perl, and you're able to actually run a bash payload. So I wasn't quite knowledgeable, or I wasn't aware of that. But it basically got me. You learn something every day, right? So then a little bit of forensic for the fundamentals. Having good forensic base, I think, helps you pick your tools and make things easier. A little bit of reverse engineering background, perhaps, just to be able to uh, get from the this binary file down to the disassembled C++ or pseudo C file of the code there. The tools we're going to be using Nmap. Of course, we can't go without that. I suggest you have your own commands. If you don't, consider probably having some. It's a lot easier to just copy paste, and we're all human. We tend to forget some flags once in a while. Um, then you can be using Gydra or Radar too. Something to be able to basically is just something to be able to do the reverse engineering of the binary. And then this is where the I was talking about the message convert library from Python, or not Python but Perl, that we're going to be using is basically lib email outlook message Perl on Debian based system, and we're going to be using that to convert our Outlook email file down to some text that we can read. All right, so let me bring this up here. Enough of seeing my face. I'm gonna bring you. So I already have the environment here. Um, Basically, the pawn box started, and I also have. I'm just gonna confirm. Also have the box up and running. So the first thing we usually do in this case is we want to begin to identify the target. We want to we'll use a tool that I've talked about earlier, Nmap. So oops. And if we do sudo Nmap, I usually do minus A and minus T3 or T4. We're going to scan all the ports. And that can take a while to run, but essentially I've got this, I already have a result here. Oh. So here we see we don't have a whole lot to play with. We're dealing with web server and then SSH server. We already get the host name of the box, so right away, I mean, the first thing we should be doing is right off the bat sudo yeah, nano or vi, whatever works best for you essentially, and we want to put that IP in here. So I got the host name, and I'm gonna get the IP from the HackTheBox UI here, and paste that in. We're gonna save that, so we should be getting something on this. Or we should be able to open that link. And in here we see it's a website and um, different pricing option for different forensic option. But we also have this. We get access to a free forensic. So we are able to do an image forensic in here. So I believe I have some image. Let me just double check in here. So I do have kind of an image. It's not really an image. I could have pulled one off the internet. Maybe there's one here. Oh well. I have a dummy image, but there's nothing in it really. So if we go here, in here, we'll take this image, and essentially, if we upload this image, it says that the image has been uploaded, and we can view the report here. Once we view the report, this is we get it's been built with the EXIF tool number version and all this stuff here. And pretty quick search on the interwebs, we can basically find that EXIF tool 12.37 is there an exploit for it? And well, first of all, we want to see if this thing is vulnerable. So 12.38, and we'll see vulnerability or and we see that before 12.38 we used to have a command injection, and basically this GitHub here explains a little bit. While it's not the one I used to for the payload, it basically describe everything that's going on. So it's something wrong with the way it handles the name of the file. So that being said, that's where I came across this. Let me just show you what. For those who downloaded the document, it's basically this website. Oh. So this one right here, where it tells us essentially everything, or how to use the payload, and it gives us the payload. And if we look at it, it basically encode the name. So we'll take a look at this here. So if I do IP and then I want to be want to pull a listener, we'll do port 123, and my IP is 10.10.14.2, right? So if I go back into this CVE, and this tool is written in Python though. So we run it. It says that we need the IP and a port. So my 10 is 10.10.14.2, and we choose the port 1234. Yeah, this one actually also creates the socket, but we don't really need the socket. So you see here where it says the payload has been saved as eco based this, and now if we I should have removed that file now. Let me just do this again here, because what happened is I'll have two of those files. So So I want to be removing this file right here and the other one, because one of them is my old payload. Maybe it only works with single quote. Yeah, it does. So I'll remove the other one. It's a good learning technique as well. It's a good learning thing because I mean, see, so I'll rerun that code again with my IP address and port 1234. I could kill this listener here. So it says trying to listen. So essentially, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the home page and we're gonna try that image forensic again, but this time we're gonna shoot it this file here, the echo file. So if we shoot it that and click on upload, once we go back, not to this one, but this one here, you see we have access. We definitely got shell access from that. So from here we can, the first thing I usually do is I'll double check what the users are on the box. So we got this S. Moncton, it seems. Probably the guy that does or the guy that designed or the developer of this box, right? So this seems to be the folder where our file got uploaded. See, that's the same file we had on our system. Now if we go one directory back, we see that's probably the other one. This one right here, that's probably the one where I had the .jpeg file. See, right. So if we up one directory back as well, we get to drop to the main directory of this thing, right? This website. Drop a folder below and so we're basically just gonna close the other ones here because and perhaps what we're looking for is around here. So we'll start looking in here. So you got two directory. You got analyzed image. And as usual, I can't type. So these are the two images, the psycho.jpg and the echo file. And we have assets. Likely the stuff we have for the web page, right? And the next thing we want to see is if there's any other user, like we see the S. Moncton user. Let's try to see if we can get into that folder. Can't do anything in here. Maybe there's a contrab. It seems like there's a contrab, and this is basically where it gives us a little bit of tip here. Is it throws a date into analyze log, clearing folder, and it removes those files. So okay, well, That's basically just like a log file, right? Um, yeah, it's a log file, but there's nothing in it right now. Um, but this user local investigation, that's not where we're at. Like, if we go back to our home folder, we were in the var www. So let's see what's in the user local investigation. So we got some analyzed logs. We seen that earlier in the web page, but there's this is where the email comes in, right? Um, so we got this email. That's the thing that's different from the other folder. Um, so perhaps take a look what's going on with this, and this is where I use the tool that was called the message convert. Um, just double checking how to install message convert. I don't think I did that in the. Oh yeah, it's apt. I did say it at the right at the beginning, right? Didn't I? So just have to do. Obviously, we need sudo access. We need super user. Oh, yeah. So here's the thing with that. So essentially, this file we're not able to do the install on here because we don't have access, right? But over here we do have access. So what we'll do is we'll install it here, right? And at the same time we're gonna pull it from the system here. So we're gonna do a netcat 235, and here what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull this and we want to email the msg, right? And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna go back to this here, and we're gonna do the same thing. So we want to do ncat. We want 10.10.14.2 2345, and we'll take that email file. Um, um, I think I'm doing this right, wrong. Yeah. What I usually do is I do. I was trying to do it another way there, but see what I'll do it. I'll do it this way. Is I do a cat this thing, right? and then I base 64 it. Oh, and then shoot it to netcat. 10, 10, 14, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I even get the file? No, I did not. Just not quite remembering how to shoot that file here. All right, so what we'll do is we're gonna take a small 5-minute break. I'm just gonna recap on how to shoot that file there. I'm having a memory blank. It's pretty easy to just forward the file over on netcat, but I'm having a memory blank. So I'll go on a 5-minute break and I'll be right back. Thanks. All right, thanks. Sorry about that, folks. Seems like I was having the right thing. I probably just lost the shell somehow. So I'll just redo it for the sake of showing everyone. So I deleted the file. So I just put a listener, a normal listener, and I pipe it towards an email file. And on this end, I just basically netcat like I would do if I would call my server or my listener, and I pipe the file towards the basically the pipe, right? So once I do that, we see here I'm getting the file, and it does not stop after on its own, so I have to cancel it. And once it does that, I get my email file. Now I install the email convert tool in here. So we're just gonna use the message convert, hit on the email, and then we have a .email file. If we get that, we get a whole lot of stuff, and that's essentially a file that's an attachment. Oops, went just a little bit too far. So we get this here, this email. It says, "Hi Steve, can you look through these logs and see if our analysts have been logging to the inspection terminal? I'm concerned that they're moving data onto the production without following our data transfer procedures. Regards, Tom." Well, I mean, I'm kind of curious as well. I don't know about you guys. So we got this event log file.zip. So we're going to download that essentially. So we want that U as well. If we pull all of this here, all of this nonsense, I mean, we could do it. Let's do it another way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do CP email, and we're gonna do logs.zip, and let's just edit that log.zip here. If we remove all of this here, and basically go down at the bottom of the file. And the reason I can't use these shortcut commands is one of them actually closes my browser in Nano. So I should probably get more familiar. But I come from BSD, so Nano's a little bit like edit on BSD, on FreeBSD anyway. And when I switched over, I was using Pico back in the days, so I was using the real deal. Nano is essentially Pico's clone. Pico has been was the original Unix. All right, so we got this file, but for whatever reason, well, it should not be a log because it's a log dot base64, right? But if we try to base64 decode this file, it's gonna tells us that invalid input, right? It's not the right thing. So we need to do DOS to Unix on this file essentially. It's because of the enters at the end of the file there. It's because they come from Windows. And Windows doesn't have the same returns or the same. Windows use a line feed, a LFCR basically, which is a line feed and carriage return. Linux only uses the carriage return, so that's why we needed to do that, because there was an extra LF that Linux doesn't know how to deal with, right? And now once we decode that, we get this basically this random crap, and that's our zip file. So if we do unzip, we get our security event, right? And let's see, do we have chance on here? Cool, we don't have chainsaw. So from here, basically, I go get the chainsaw tool. I'm not sure if I have to install it. Sudo apt install chainsaw. If it's a GitHub repo, I think it's a GitHub repo. So this is the tool right here from Wit Secure Labs. And it tells us essentially how to use it. So let's pull it. Alright, so git clone, and we want this. I think I already have the chainsaw though. No, I didn't save it. Okay. Well, now I do. So we have all this stuff here, and essentially, I'm not sure if I have to build it. So it says also get these two rules, which we're gonna get. Okay, we need to build it. I think I'll download one that's already built. That's what I did last time. So I went here, released, and went chainsaw all platform, pulled that one. All right. So in here, chainsaw all platform. Yeah, we don't need all those chainsaw. So we're gonna unzip this. Perfect. So the one we want is not the GNU, but we're gonna take the unknown Linux MSU, and we're just gonna rename it to Chainsaw for the sake of easiness. And if we will have to put it executable, and there we have it. All right. Now I'll spare you the the amount of time that that I had to go through that all these logs, but basically it comes down to searching for particular event ID, and those are login. And the reason why this happens is that sometimes, and I'm guilty of that. Sometimes you get to enter the actual password instead of the username, so well, this will show up like this, right? So we get this default forensic pass here, which is quite interesting because we only have the S Morton user on this box. Um, so it'd be fun to know if Mr. Morton's actually using his default password, right? So once we click here, we get that, and sure enough, we get the user flag, right? Now, it doesn't quite stop here because this is I think this is where it starts to get interesting. So one of the first thing I do is I'll do this thing right here. And this tells us that we're allowed to run this binary command as root, but doesn't really tell us what's going on. So, well, we did the trick earlier. Let's do this again. We don't need this access per se anymore. So let's do a netcat 1010. We want a listener here. So let's do 3456, and we're gonna do this to this binary file, right? Because we don't quite know what it is and we need access to this. So we'll do this 10 10 14 2 3 2 4 5 6, and we want to throw at it user bin binary. So it shouldn't be too long, but we have to control C it, so I'll just give it a little bit of time to make sure it pulls. And we now have this binary file on our system, right? It's a nav file, so I'm not very familiar. I usually use Radar 2 to do that kind of stuff, but I wanted to do this or try Gydra. So if I sound like I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, it's probably because I don't know. Yeah, I'm more. I usually use Gydra or Radar 2, which is text based, a little bit more than I use Gydra. I use Cutter as well. Cutter is kind of a front end for Radar 2. Um, I like Cutter as well. So, but I want to get more familiar with Gydra. So we don't need access to this. We don't need the tips. So here we're just going to create a project. It doesn't need to be anything. Project name, investigation. And what we want to do is we want to import this file into the project, this binary file, right? Because we want to be looking at this file. We want to know what's going on with it. So once we have that imported, we can click on the little dragon here. And that's basically where all the magic happens. Um, Did it actually open the file? I don't think it did. All right, let's double click on the file. I think that's what we need to do here. Yeah. So it says the binary file has not been analyzed. You want to do this now. We actually want to do this. So analyze this file. The default's good for us. And most of the commands are in the program. They usually start with the main function, right? So let's go to the main function, and here we have the decompiled version of this software. So what the C, so we can see that there's basically two different parameters, and those are integer and long because they're actually being passed through as pointers. So that's why they're being in and we can see this here basically. So they're all being passed as pointers. And right here we can see that the second argument, it looks for this string here, and if the string's not there, it doesn't seem like it's going through. But if we keep looking, I mean, it might not be as obvious for you guys. It takes a little bit of time, so I just want to keep I don't want to, like, if I take that as much time as it took me to reverse engineer that on the stream, you guys are gonna be checking on the pulse on me and making sure I'm not dead or something, because I would probably be staring at this for a little bit of time and then figuring out from, because I'm a programmer, so I can kind of understand what's going on here. Here's a string copy, and it basically a string compare, and it does that by passing the parameter, and it says essentially, you can see here, it's an address, like it's an address to file. So that's why here it says a pointer, the asterisk basically a pointer. So that's why these arguments are coming in as integer basically. But if we keep looking a little bit below, we can see the very first variable, but then it uses curl. It seems to be using curl, and this is basically where it kind of gets me, right? It sets a stream. So it opens a stream and it executes system on it. You see how it kind of executes the RM function right here? Well, the system function is basically in C or C++. It's calling to the system. It's running a function as the system. And here we have set UID as 0. Well, UID 0, that's root. But I mean, we already have root at that point because we're executing that as sudo. So whatever it seems to be doing, it seems to be pulling a web page, pulling a file from a web page, right? Like all of this here, we don't really, like, it's moving stuff around is what it's doing. And then it's executing it. So let's try to do something with this. So we definitely got the password. So that looks like a password, some form of a password, right? Because let's go back to our program here, Mr. Moncton. So we can do sudo user bin binary. But if we just run that, it says exiting. So if we just run this like that and paste this, okay, now it says running and then exiting. If we press at a file, we can see here it actually tries to run that password file, right? It sees all these things and says, well, I can't really do all this stuff, right? So what if we created this page here? Okay, I thought I had the page saved up, but I don't. But it's not a big deal because essentially we just need to create this index.html, right? And put a reverse shell to it. So we copy this thing here, and we're gonna use another port because we've been using this one. So we're gonna jump to 4567, and we're just gonna exit that. And here we're gonna spawn HTTP server, right? So here we have this HTTP server now. And since it's using curl, let's see we can try to do this like this, right? So 1010 14.2 port 8000, right? But we also need a listener, because this thing is likely going to so let's do a listener here and port 4 to 7 4567. We got our web server running on port 8000, and we got our sudo command that's able to run. Let's try to run this. It gets that file, and sure enough, it calls our reverse shell here, and we get logged in as root, which gives us access to the root flag. So I hope you guys. I apologize for the big boom there. I hope you guys like the path to move forward I mean, everything from this box a little bit different, right? But sometimes on engagement, you do have to reverse engineer some file. But although I kind of do see that more when you do reverse engineering from malware analysis and stuff like that. So I think this box does a pretty good job as enabling us to use Blue Team in what is normally exclusively red box exercises. The chainsaw tool is very good, as you can see, to carve through thousands. We didn't see how many thousands of logs there was. Maybe we did. See, there's 17 megs of logs, and that's just logs. Like, I think when I was looking at initially, there was like a couple of 100,000s, like 150 or 180,000 different event logs. So it's different, definitely quite a bit of logs there. And you can see here how how this program actually executes if we cancel it, if we kill it. See, we can't really kill it unless this user exit out of it, right? Well, we still. I thought perhaps I could save that LXN file. So it acts like a password and the file name at the same time. So um, that's interesting. Well, again, I hope you enjoyed the box as much as I did. It did make me use skills that I was not expecting to use. I would say great job to the creator. And our next meetup event is on Saturday the 27th, so in 4 weeks from now. Not quite sure what box we're gonna be doing, but I'll definitely be posting that on the group here, on the meetup group, and or perhaps on the Discord chat. So again, thank you. This was Psycho, and thank you for hacking this box with me. And I hope you have a good evening. Bye bye.